button. There we go. Hi, YouTube. All right, guys. PTOD of the day, pep talk of the day. That is the day that the time of the day that we get together every day, and I spit a topic at you, and you guys get to share. I get to read your comments, and also we get to grow together. So today's topic on this lovely Monday morning is emotionally taking back yourself from someone and detaching yourself from someone who is kind of stealing your worthiness. We've talked a lot about the pragmatics behind relationships, the good, the bad, the ugly. We're blanket covering all relationships today, whether they be those of emotions, those of physicality, whether it's a lover, a friend, whatever. I'm trying to cover all of it today. So the first step in good morning, in realizing that you are kind of giving your worthiness to someone else, is actually like acknowledging it, okay? There's several things, and we've talked about codependent relationships, we've talked about abusive relationships here. Good morning. Hi, Chic Boutique, love ya. And we're gonna go into how we can recognize those things, okay? First is that you persephocate on this person, you obsess about this person, trying to make this person happy. Maybe the fact that this person has made you upset. That goes into the second part of what I'm talking about, is you lose your temper with this individual a lot. Does this person bring about the worst in you? If at any time I'm talking today, you guys know I suggest notebook and pen, you think of someone who meets these criteria, you need to journal about it. Why do I say journal? I say journal because, well, Nikki loves lists. And also, it's good and to make things physical in front of you to deal with them internally and emotionally. It's my personal belief. Now, you see you lose your temper with this person. Do you blame them for issues in your life? And remember, we're just talking about finding people in our life that we want to emotionally detach ourselves from. This might, you know, this isn't everybody. There's gonna be select few people who aren't serving you anymore. Nikki loves lists, hashtag, you guys are adorable. Do you blame them for your low self-esteem? Do you blame them for where you are emotionally and physically in life? You got me doing homework, I love it. Or do you find yourself tying your everyday emotions and actions to this individual? Are they an integral part of control? You guys know what I say. I say you have the pen, your journal is your life. You write whatever you want in there. Occasionally people come up with sticky notes and hand you ideas, loves, friendships, whatever, as suggestions. You can choose to take said sticky note and add it to your journal or throw it away. When you come across a person who you feel is constantly handing you sticky notes you don't want, they might be diving into your worthiness. Now, some of us have a harder outer shell than others. For some of us, these things that I'm mentioning won't be reasons for you to emotionally remove yourself from someone's life. Maybe you can handle that. Maybe that's how you guys view your relationship and it works for you. I come into contact with this situation emotionally when I think about, what is this person taking from you? Okay? Time, money, emotions, purpose. Yay! Wish granted. Oh, I love you guys. If you don't have healthy boundaries with this individual, if you are, good morning, Mala by the Sea, I'm wearing my gear. Ooh, link in bio. Anyways, so back to what I was trying to say. If you don't have healthy boundaries with this individual, that's not to say that you can't set them up, but emotionally removing yourself from them has to be the first step. Anybody who has enough control over you that they're kind of shifting your moods during the day has too much control. No one should be able to put you in a bad mood, a severely awful mood, a triggered mood, and still be able to be allowed in your life. I will straight up say that. Nobody has time for that. That doesn't mean they're not right for someone else, whether it's a friendship or, you know, a love. It doesn't matter. If you're giving a good portion of your day to being emotionally entangled with this individual in a negative manner, you're taking away from all the things that you should be doing with your life. What about when it's your marriage? Well, and that's a personal choice. I have recently come to terms with my own marriage and dealing with things that we have to both be honest and adult about. What's working, what's not working. And I can tell you through my personal experience that being dishonest is only going to feed the fire. That goes for everything in life. If you are struggling, seek counseling if you feel it is worth it. If you are completely done, there is no reason why you cannot eloquently and kindly end your relationship and move on into your purpose and your worthiness. Not everyone understands that. Not everyone is supposed to understand that. My advice is that you write down your pros and cons. You be blatantly honest and open-hearted with the individual that you're working with, whether it's through a marriage, a friendship, or a love. And you make it known what you need and want. And if those concessions cannot be made, then relationships move on. I know that was a little bit long-winded side note, but I hope that helped you. One of the other reasons we can recognize that we're in an emotionally not good relationship, someone who's stepping into your worthiness, is that you feel like you need to unhealthily cope when you're with them. Whether it's over drinking, love you Orchard, over drinking, overeating, doing drugs, abusing alcohol, whatever form of unhealthy coping you have. There's a million I didn't list, but whatever unhealthy coping you have is making you and taking you away from your purpose, you need to emotionally detach from that person. Now, how do we move into taking your power back? We just talked a little bit about marriage and what my views behind that were. One of the biggest things that I believe leads into your happiness and your worthiness, if you feel that you're with someone who detaches you from your purpose and kind of self-consumes you, is being honest. I have not always been the most honest person in my life. I can say that truthfully right here. I am human. I am learning, always learning. But now that I've come through the fire of dishonesty and chosen to be honest with myself and those around me, which was one of the biggest steps in my recovery for anorexia, and in getting out of my PTSD and my depression, is that even though honesty is super scary, the emotions that go behind you being dishonest about how you feel are twice as bad. So that's the first thing I implore you guys to do, is to be honest and speak your truth, even if your voice shakes, even if you feel like everything's falling apart. The truth will set you free. That's pretty much the end and beginning of that. The second thing you need to do is set limits on how much you're interacting with this person. Now, I don't know how to specifically tell you how to set those limits. Those are personal choices that you have to come to on your own. If it's a friendship and you feel as if there's still hope that you guys could work it out, you're gonna have to set daily, weekly limits on when you see each other or the situations in which you see each other. All of that can change. If it's a marriage, separating, whatever that means to you, it's personal. But I implore you to make a plan behind how you are going to set the emotional limits and the physical limits with this person that you're trying to detach yourself from. Because you need that true sight, that true understanding of what it is to be separated from them before you can get into understanding what's going on and how they're actually overstepping bounds and kind of taking from you. The third point that I have for you guys, and I feel like it's sort of comboed with number one, is consider the other person's emotions. There's concerns in lieu of that situation and make a plan for space. All three of those are kind of your first step into emotionally dealing with an individual who you feel is taking from you. My fourth tip to you guys is in being honest, keep yourself to that standard. Find people, I'm gonna say, that cleaner in your life, that individual that Bonnie and Clyde, put the, you know, no questions asked, put the bag in the trunk type person. You need to find someone that you can tribe with about your issues. It's super important. As humans, I feel like if we don't share and talk about the things that we're going through, even if the other person just listens, it's super hard to emotionally move through it and get anywhere. Yes, the ride or die, exactly. I'm upset. Thank you. I love my hair. If you guys are just watching through YouTube, I get to answer the comments and talk with my tribe. It's pretty rad. So you'll see me point at my phone and talk. I swear I'm not a crazy lady. Side note here, you know, find yourself a cleaner, but I think people who won't validate your feelings or think they're unimportant are not someone that you should tribe with if you're trying to make a major move in your life, like leaving a relationship, you know, friendship or love-wise. And that's being conscious of those who are going to best build you up. It's difficult when you're giving your worthiness away to someone, and you're trying to fill their cup. It's very hard to self-regulate when you've given too much. We often come to the end of our string and have no way to get back up and out. So my pep talk to you guys today is in lieu of getting to the end of your yarn. It's realizing the relationship before it gets so bad that you can't emotionally find your way out. It is definitely hard. Emotional growth is one of those things that causes a lot of soul sweat. Cheers to soul sweat coming out of your eyes. Oh my gosh, guys, this song. All right, enough side note. How to know when someone's stealing from you. Okay, we're gonna go pony back on this because we're halfway through the PTOD. Thank you. Hey, newbies in. Welcome to the PTOD, guys. Time of day I spit a little bit of knowledge at you, or my life knowledge, and I get to read all the wonderful things y'all are leaving. Do you see this person bettering you? I don't care what the relationship is. I don't care if it's friendship. I don't care if it is your mom, your dad, your auntie, your uncle, your grandma, your grandpa, your mammy. I don't care. I don't care what the relationship is. If this person is related to you or not. Because listen, I've cut ties with family. Been there, done that. Had to breathe through it. It's not easy. You have all these entrenched routines around these individuals. So you're basically choosing to rearrange your life to fill your purpose. As humans, we don't like that work. We want things to be the same every single day. We want that routine. We want that safety net. We want those feelings that make us feel happy, even if they're in lieu of 90% of the time feeling awful. Oh, Alaska, I love you. So let's speak to those entrenched behaviors specifically right now, because I do have a side note on my computer here to talk about that. So you have a family member who is always talking crap about you, or always has unsolicited advice. We've talked about this before. Constantly handing you sticky notes, taking from your worthiness in the way that they make you feel like you can't adult. Been there. Okay? This individual is pervasively abusive. Don't hate, celebrate that term. Pervasively abusive. Okay? It's a real thing. Quiet contemplators are good at it. We've talked about that personality. Not that they all do it, but some of them do. They're real sneaky about it. And so you can never nail down exactly if they were joking or they were trying to give advice, and it makes you feel uncomfortable and you are losing part of yourself because they're constantly downing you on things you do in your life. How do you separate yourself from this individual? Oh, because I get this question a lot about family members like this. Well, the talk I had with an individual I had in my life that was doing this to me, as a family member, went like this. I can no longer allow you to come into my home and talk negatively about the things I'm doing. I am a great mom, I'm a great wife, I'm a great homemaker. I'm really proud of those things. And I love my kids and my family more than anything. And I'm doing the best I can do every single day. And you're not seeing that, which is fine. Those are your boundaries, but here are my boundaries. You're no longer allowed in my home. If you can come here and visit without being pervasively abusive, without being negative, without giving unsolicited advice, then you can come into my home. But those are my boundaries. I love you, but having you around me makes me question who I am as a person, what I'm doing every day, and you are stealing from my worthiness. That's how the conversation went. And let me tell you, they never came back. It stinks. There's generational gaps, things that affect you and me and people who are in their 70s, 80s, 90s. Gosh, some grandmas hanging around being boss in their hundreds, you know. They want to be able to pervasively give you advice and kind of cut you down without being called out on it. And I'm not cool with that. When I go into someone's home, however they choose to live, I respect it. If their home makes me uncomfortable, I just choose to leave. Same thing goes for family and friends. Speaking to those situations specifically right now that have to do with family, because they're entrenched relationships, guys. I've talked about this. Oh, I love you, Marvelous XX. It gets messy when when family members do things for you and expect you to be quiet about their pervasive abusiveness because, well, they did something for you today. That really gets me. And I hear that problem a lot. And here's what I have to say to you. No amount of kind act is worth you being cut down in the aftermath. Write that down. It's important. No amount of kind acts is worth you being cut down in the aftermath. I don't care if they're watching your kids. I don't care if they're cleaning your house and doing your lawn work. No one has the right, because they've done something kind for you, to then turn around and cut you down. Family members are really good at this. Why? Because they feel like they have that chip in their back pocket that says, I'm blood, I'm family, I can be abusive to a certain extent and get away with it. I can tell you right now that's dysfunction. I can tell you right now that I have had many of friends go to therapy with their family members over this. I deal with you guys honestly on a daily basis getting stories through my DM about situations just like this. You know, grandma and grandpa watch little Johnny, but when I come to pick him up, they dog on me about his diet, and they tell me that his clothes aren't cute enough, and they tell me I should really get a better job. Not okay. G-Ma and G-Pa can watch the baby, but they ain't allowed to run their mouths about how you run your life. No one gets that right. No one. I don't care who you are in relation to me, and I speak this for you, anyone in relation to you. No one gets to run their mouth about how you choose to exist. That's your business. People don't like that. People want to control and take from your, what are we talking about today, guys? Worthiness. It's a bad habit that some people have. Guilt shame killing me. Totally. That guilt shame. So how do you make your way out? Well, you're gonna have to be tough on yourself. Said before, humans don't like change. We like things to stay in the status quo, but if you want better for yourself and for your worthiness, you've got to make boundaries. Now that might be, you know, living with a little less money and getting a sitter instead of using grandma and grandpa. It might be, hey, let's go to relationship counseling because I love you a lot, but you are really mentally abusive to me on like a down low level and you don't even know it. And getting that third party engaged with you about what is appropriate conversation, what is appropriate, you know, sticky note giving and what's not. Because, you know, I don't mind being given advice when it's not used as an abusive tactic towards me. I would not be where I'm at, nor as learned as I am, had I not listened to my grandma and grandpa, had I not listened to the elderly folks when I worked as a CNA, or to some friends that I have. But the advice that I chose to take in was always given freely and without attachment. There was never judgment towards it. I'm trying to think of a really good example of this. Okay. When I was just a new mom, I thought I had to push Hayden around in a stroller everywhere, and it was just really hard on me. I don't like pushing things. And I was at the supermarket one day, and I looked exhausted. I know I did. And a woman in her 40s came up to me and said, have you ever thought about wearing your baby? And I was like, what? What are you talking about? She turns around, she had a baby on her back. And I was like, you got a baby on your back. That looks a lot easier. And she's like, can I help you? Can I show you how this is done? And I was like, absolutely, this looks like an amazing idea. And that's where I fell in love with baby wearing. And from that day on, I found a used wrap. That was my first carrier. And then I got into ergo carriers, and then Bamber. Well, who knows how much of that we missed, but there'll be some of it on YouTube today. We gotta figure that out. She says her family has been hating on her because of how she lives her life and raises her kids. Yeah, not okay. Not okay. I seriously needed before getting out of bed this morning. Oh, thanks guys, I love you. Yes, no haters this morning. I really wanted to sing that song. Good morning, Asha. O'Connor, so beautiful. Thank you. Ooh, Sinead O'Connor. Feeling the vibes this morning, guys. All right, we got like 6 minutes left. Let's review. If someone makes you feel belittled, if they make you feel nervous, if you're pouring too much emotional gas into their tank and not enough in your car and you can't go anywhere at the end of the day, you might need to emotionally remove yourself from someone. If you are in a relationship that you know is mentally or physically abusive, you might need to remove yourself from someone. Making new routines and setting your life up for success and your purpose can be messy. I speak specifically to those who are wavering on their own self-worth. I promise you, you're worth it. There's no question that you deserve everything. It's just how willing are you to go after that? We get ourselves into situations in our life where we realize we're no longer purposeful in them, or they're stealing from our worthiness. And that's okay, because people change and people grow. And it's such a lovely thing to become more and more your original and your truthful self. But there's also fallouts to that, and there's relationships that don't work, and there's things and emotional ties that have to be cut, or routines that have to be redone. And for that, I want to tell you, it's not a short game. It is a long game. It's a long war of attrition. But it's worth it. And ultimately, as you go across these bridges and these pathways to your worthiness, and you choose to kind of get rid of those who are questioning what you are, who you are, what you choose to do with your life and your jobs and your career, you start to naturally procure individuals that are good for you, that are going to help you grow, that are going to understand your journey. I know you may feel like they're not out there, but they are. And they show up in the strangest, most wonderful places. But being open to that light and kind of internally living that purpose before you can externally manifest it, guys, is going to be the biggest issue here. Your worthiness is never tied to another human. It just shouldn't, and it can't be. I can only speak from my personal experience and the wonderfulness I feel now that I don't have any individuals in my life that are taking from me. And that came with practice, strong boundaries, being outwardly honest and speaking my truth even when I knew it was going to offend somebody, but doing it in the kindest manner I could. Because you guys, everything I'm talking about today, I tell you to move with kindness. It's super important that you have a humble heart. when you transition, because whether you want to admit it or not, people are attached to you, and that's okay. But moving through kindness is always going to help you out. And then choosing a lifestyle and a path that's right for you, and including those who are going to help build you. Those are my advices to you guys today. Thank you. I love you guys too. Such a strength. I love you, YouTube, but this right here in this live feed is good. You have to drop in every once in a while, I promise. It's worth it. So today, what do I want for you? Be conscious of your relationships. If something doesn't sit well with you, don't jump off the deep end. Write it down or make a mental note. Start being mentally fluid in keeping track of how people treat you. I think you'll honestly start to realize that you have individuals in your life that are emotionally taking from your worthiness. What you choose to do after that is your own business. But this level of consciousness that I speak of, when you start to see yourself in the manner that you've always wanted to be, doing things that you love, you will start to see those who are not okay with it. Don't ignore that feeling, okay? Just keep track and make choices in accordance to that. A little bit of self-awareness so that you can have your self-worth. That's all I want for you guys today. Have some self-awareness so you can have your self-worth.